All right, guys. So we're live. There's so much. So let me just start with this. Think about these numbers, right? This is what it makes my mind nuts. 60,000 tunnels in the United States. 60,000, okay? Private equity owns about 2,500 to 3,000 tunnels. You know what? Let's say 5,000. 55,000 tunnels are owned by mom and pop business owners. I just literally got off the phone with someone right now, and the guy owns a car wash with Steve, who's on the call. And Steve, are you there? He's probably
Yeah, I'm
busy.
here.
Hey, so real quick, how crazy was that? The guy owns the car wash since 2009. He does $850,000 a year. He doesn't know where to go. You call him, and now we have a meeting with him on Friday in person. It happens like that.
Yeah. Actually, he was interested in one of the car washes we had, and then he told me he had three. So I said, "Well, we'll buy all three." And
Yeah.
then he's like, "Well, I'll sell one." And he's like, "Let's get on the phone." Yeah.
I wonder if would he sell the other two, or he just wants to stay with that one.
He said he just wants to stay with that one, but I think we could,
Let's meet with
like
him.
he said, he wants to build, he wants to get into the commercial and build that, make a $50 million deal out of 100 units. I mean, to me, it sounds like, you know, that's his ticket to retire. He's working 6 days a week.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to meet him with you. And then, if we don't buy all three, we could buy one, and then we can get a first right of refusal on the other two.
Yeah.
But great, great lead. What I love about that deal, guys, and what really attracted me to that deal was the rent. The rent's only $3,400 a month, and the place does $2.2 million a year. So if you do $3,400 a month times 12, that's about $40,000 a year. 40,800 into 2.4. We're looking at 1.7% rent, and rents in the car wash business, if you don't own the property, 10 to 20%. So right there, you just saved, look how many percent you just saved. If it's 10% an average rent in the car wash industry, you save 9% right off the bat in your pocket. So very attractive deal to me. So where was I? 60,000 cars, 60,000 tunnels, 55,000 mom and pops. The market's wide open, and that's what we do. And I love this business because this business, if you have a good manager in place, if you can have someone that you trust there, that you bring into the business, or someone that's at the business that you're buying, that you can groom into a good manager. And if he's able, the whole business is payroll. So if the manager is able to whip the payroll, depending on what type of car wash it is, at the certain percentage, you can make a lot of money. So we'll be going over that on this webinar. Okay, so what we'll cover, the types of car washes and which ones actually make money, the seller call, the questions every buyer should ask or broker should ask, the underwriting sheet, every number you need to know, and then the traps, the write-offs, the payroll, and why you triple check everything. Because a lot of these guys, a lot of these sellers, they're not claiming what they make. They run their personal cars through the business, they run their insurance through the business. And, it's very hard to understand what the actual profit is. So once you learn how to do that, you can understand how to underwrite these things. These are the type of car washes that I focus on and that I sell and buy. Full service car washes are car washes where you go to a car wash, the employees vacuum inside your car, they vacuum outside your car, and the price, in New York, the price can be between $40 or $35 up to $70 to get a car wash. That's full service. If you a lot of people with nice cars, they like the full service, they like the mechanical hand wash. They want that extra touch on their car. So mechanical hand wash is very similar to full service. It's just even nicer. It's more expensive. So that could be a $70, $80 average. The express car washes are the exterior only car washes. So that's when customers come in and they get their cars just exterior only. And that's where you see a lot of the membership revenue. So those trade at a higher multiple. The full service and mechanical hand washes trade at a lower multiple. So the full service and the mechanical hand washes, it depends. If it's with the property, it can trade up to 10 times in Long Island. Expresses can trade up to 12 times with the property. And then a flex is a combination of the full service and the express. So you have the best of both worlds. You have inside, outside, or the customers can go in and just do exterior. They can vacuum themselves. I own one flex car wash. It's a great car wash. So these are the four ones that I focus on. There's also self-service car washes where customers go in, they bring their car in, they do it themselves. Those don't make as much money. A good full-service car wash, like the one Steve got, puts in his pocket $70,000 a month in his pocket clean. That's a good amount of money to buy. But he operates the car wash. So if you have a really good manager there, you could put $65,000 in your pocket. So that's why it's attractive. You buy a bunch of those, it adds up big time. Expresses, you only need three guys, three, four guys. That's it. You don't do as much volume as the full service, but your profit margin can be 60%. So if you're doing $1 million in an express, you can make $600,000 in your pocket. Easier to run. It's less issues, and everyone has a different model. Private equity loves express, just so everyone knows that. I love express, but I also love full service because I have the right operators to whip people in shape. And then flex is a combination of both. Do we have any questions so far? Do you have to qualify for a rental lease when you buy a new owner? So if you're buying a business and you don't buy the property, there's a landlord. He's going to have to qualify you. You can't just come in. Every landlord's different, right? So there's landlords that you can meet them in person, shake their hand, they like you. They're like, you know what, I want to give you the lease. It's rare, but it happens. But there's most of the landlords, especially in the Northeast, they want to see your financials. They want to, understand what experience you have. So you got to go through the song and dance with them. Do I need a real estate license in New Jersey to broker this? Uh, Not the business. So the business, you don't need a real estate license, but the property, yes. So we'll get into, how to get started next at the end of this call. Mike, I do have a question. You said expresses can be ran with 2 to 3 employees. What is the typical headcount you are seeing for full services? Great question. So busy expresses, 2 to 4, 2 to 5 employees, very busy. Full service is a different animal. The full service car wash business is the payroll business. So the more employees you have, usually the busier the car wash is. One of my full services, we have 20 guys. One of my full services, we have 12 to 13 guys. So I would say a busy full service between 15 and 30 guys total. Would car detailing services fall within your criteria? Yeah, so that's a great question. So we started a detailing business at all of our car washes. We basically run Facebook ads. We generate a ton of leads for details, and we are doing it in the car wash. Now we're going to do it remote as well. So, basically, when people want to do it at their house, we can come and do it at their house too. So we're really bullish on detailing because I have the right crew at every location. If you don't have the crew, it's hard to do detailing. I have one in Toronto interested in selling. Beautiful. Well, we got to talk, Scott, because we have buyers in Toronto. Do most washes offer depreciation benefits? Yes, absolutely. So car washes qualify for 100% year one write-offs. They qualify for the bonus depreciation in the section 179, and they both full service express, they both qualify. It's hard to find car washes in New York. It is. Would you recommend owning one out of state? It's hard to find them in New York. They always go to people they know. Would I recommend owning one out of state? I own one out of state. I own one in PA. For your first one, if you can't get there all the time, it's tough. I would definitely, if you're a single operator, I would definitely buy one that's close to you. So God forbid something happens, you can get there, right? Navid, if you're interested in owning one in New York, we could talk. I have options. How about California, Arizona, and Florida? I think all three of those states are great markets. Arizona, I heard, is an amazing state, amazing market. Florida is a good market. Surprisingly, California is a good market as well. So all three of them are good markets. I wouldn't be interested in the West Coast, but we have so many buyers that would buy in the West Coast right now. Does membership work both in express and full service? Yes. So membership works in all different sectors. Membership works in every business. You can incorporate membership in almost every single business. You got to just get creative, but definitely works in full service, definitely works in express. Expresses are the most valuable because they're the most profitable. That's a fact. So expresses, like I said, they can run at 60% margins, 65% margins. Full services, good full services, they can run between 30 and 35%. So the seller call, the questions every buyer should ask or a broker should ask in order you should ask them. Okay, let me go over the questions. So when I'm speaking to a car wash owner as a broker, as a buyer, I want to ask them, like the last call we had with Steve, how many cars did you wash in 2025? The guy said he washed about 70,000 cars. That's a high volume full service place, 70,000 cars. He's doing between 35 and $40 a wash. So you know he's doing over $2 million a year top line. A good operator, like I said, can net between 30 and 35%. So that means this guy's making money. And then another way to realize the volume, how many cars you wash, what are your gross sales per year? So you can ask them how many cars you wash, what's your average price, and then you can multiply that. You can figure out their gross sales. That's the next question. What's your price per car? And then another question is, do you have memberships? So understanding the membership ratio to the sales ratio, the retail ratio, it's good to have a balance of both if you're a full service car wash. You want a little bit of both. Expresses, you want to focus on just membership, membership, membership. But full services, you want to balance of both to keep it a healthy margin. So these are good questions to ask about volume. The lease, another question I ask all the time. Do you own the property or do you lease? So on our call before, we spoke to this guy that owned that car wash in Jersey, and I asked him, "Do you own the property or do you lease?" He said, "I lease. My rent's 3,400 a month." That's better than owning the property. 3,400 a month is nothing. I'd rather have a 40-year lease at 3,400 a month. Your rent's 1% of sales. What's better than that? It's basically free. So if you lease, what's the rent? How many years do you have in the lease? And then a very big question is, what are the escalations in the lease? I had to walk away from a deal at the table because the escalations were too high, even 1% too high. I had to walk away at the table because if you calculate that 1% over the course of the lease, that adds up to millions of dollars in difference. So escalations is very important. The property. Is the owner of the property willing to sell? That's a good question. What are the taxes on the property? Is it a triple net lease? Are you responsible for the taxes? Or is the landlord responsible for the taxes? Usually car washes that are leased are triple net leases. Where does the water come from and go? Very important. If you're in Long Island in Suffolk County, there's cesspools. You got to hire a company to come out and pump those cesspools. It's a pain in the butt and it costs more money. If you're in Nassau, we have sewers. So there's basically no water bill. If you have a well on the property, that's even better. You have your own well. So understanding the water situation is extremely important in this business. In the city, forget about it. The city, the water is super high. The tunnel, what type of equipment do you have in your tunnel? Do you have McNeil? McNeil is probably the best equipment out there. It's like the Mercedes-Benz of equipment, McNeil. Then you have Bellinger. You have Econocraft. You have European style equipment. There's all different types of equipment out there. It's good to understand what type of equipment, how old the equipment is, how big the tunnel is. Is there equipment you can add to save labor? That's huge because if, say, your equipment doesn't have the tire shine machines, right? And your employees are scrubbing down the tires of the cars. You add a tire shine machine, you can eliminate two employees right there. That's 100 grand a year for a 40,000 one-time investment or 30,000 one-time investment. So understanding equipment is huge because you can help save labor, which is the biggest expense in the business. Cash flow should be at what percentage above expenses? So in the full service game, cash flow should be between, if you're a good operator, between 30 and 35% of your gross sales. Expresses, you can be up to 60 to 65% of your gross sales in cash flow. Are you avoiding the California market primarily for logistical reasons, or is there another factor? Logistical. I would say it's just too far right now. Any other questions? Are it possible to take over a lease with no prior experience or having funds in the bank before you buy? It's risky. If you don't have experience, I'm a resource to you, right? I can help you. I don't know where you live, but you should definitely just either work at a car wash or speak to me or some of my people before you just jump in. You could jump in if you're going to be there every single day. If you're structuring a deal, Jason, you should structure a deal with the seller where you train for 30 days before you buy it. If you could do that, then it can be worth it. Is it hard to get an SBA loan on car washes? It depends where. In New York, it's almost impossible. All these guys that own these car washes, they're not showing what they make. They're writing off everything. They're putting the cash in their pocket. You can't underwrite a loan like that. So SBA will never take it. That's why seller financing is the way to go. And I like seller financing because the the seller has skin in the game. But other states, yes. Other states, I've done SBA loans, especially with property, if the tax returns are half decent. Any other questions? I'm going to keep going. I'm in California, but I know a small business owner who sold their business, their building, and bought a car wash and tripled their income. I like to target that niche in CA. You should. You got to find someone that's been there for a while, that has a good business, that's willing to seller finance, and has a relationship with you. That's you got to create a relationship with these sellers. If you can do that, get them to trust you, put a little bit of money down, understand the numbers, understand where the seller financing will come in, understand what the net profit is. You got to create those relationships with those sellers. Another thing that you do, also another option, find a deal that has hair on it, that has issues where you can come in and buy it for nothing. That's another option. So I'm a resource to you, Patrick. I know you've been on a bunch of the Zooms. You can always reach out to me and get my opinion, and I can help you. I'm in the detailing industry. Tell me about the market. Ooh, the market in Michigan. I picked up 15 locations today in Michigan, 14 with the property for 30 million. So I'm bullish on Michigan right now. So that's a big deal. It's a $30 million deal. I think Michigan's a great market. Tommy is one of the biggest operators is in Michigan. They're express. The seasonality is great there. A little snow on the ground. The car washes are booming because all that salt's on the ground. It gets messy, it's dirty, and people want to wash their cars. Love Michigan. What's a reasonable seller financing breakdown? Every deal is different. So, I've done a deal 30 years, 5%. Some people, every deal is different. I've seen 10 years, 6%, 7%. I've seen 5 years, 10%. It's all about the numbers. How can you verify cash flow? Make sure it's not losing money if sellers are hiding true profits. You have to, so the first thing you got to do, Jason, you got to understand the gross revenue. If you can verify the gross revenue, you look at POS reports, you look at car counts, you look at all the back, not the tax returns. You look at that too, but you'll understand what they're really doing, the POS and the cash register, and how many cars they're doing a week. And you sit there for a month. You have someone sit there. You count the cars. You figure out the gross revenue. You can always work your way backwards. There's not a lot of expenses. It's the payroll. That's the biggest expense. Then you have your rent. Then you have your cost of goods. Your chemicals, your soaps. You have your insurance. You have your payroll taxes, your payroll. I said that. You have your utilities, your electric, your gas. You have exterminator fee, minimal. Very minimal expenses, right? So you break down all those expenses, then you can figure out what it makes. I live on another continent. What is my best option to buy? I will go over, stay till the end of the call. I'll tell you exactly um, what to do. You should just keep learning and you should have a lot of deals in front of you, but I will go over it. Can you franchise a Tommy's? Yes, you could. You could. So now they're doing franchises. If you want to get into the business though, stay till the end. I have options for you guys. If you want to invest into deals, I got deals. There's a lot of options. Dear Mike, what are the main red flags to be on the lookout when looking for a car wash? Environmentals? Yes. Great point. Every car wash we buy, we do an environmental. Any private equity company that's buying a car wash does an environmental. If the property is dirty, they're not going to buy it, or they're going to try and fix it to buy it. No one's buying a contaminated property. So environmental is a must when I buy a car wash. Sinkholes underneath the property from water. I haven't experienced that, but obviously you want to look out for that. With such margins, washes seem like a fantastic business. What are the possible horror scenarios? Horror scenarios are, you getting into something where you think you can run it with your eyes closed and you're going to do it behind your desk and, you're going to come in 10 hours a week. You need to have someone really good managing it. If you don't have someone really good managing it, you're going to be in trouble. So always keep that in mind. You need, even in Express, you need a good manager there running the ship. What kind of no, other questions? So these are more questions to ask. What kind of computer systems do you use? Now it's very interesting. In the car wash business, there's only a few types of computers, a few types of POS. There's probably 10 to 15 types of POSs for car washes. DRB is one of the best types of POSs. Micrologic, even Clover. We have Clover in some of our locations. That's pretty good. That's not really a car wash system, but DRB, Micrologic, ICS, those are all car wash systems. that give you, how many cars you wash, what's the average car count, what the weather is going to be like. So it's good to have an actual system in the business. What CRM does the car wash run on? So this is why I love the business. It's completely antiquated. We're really innovating the whole space. We've built our own CRM, like AI custom CRM, that we're plugging into these DRBs, these Clovers, these ICSs, that API right into them, and then we can know when people's credit cards are about to expire. We can know how many times John Smith goes into the car wash, what times he goes in, when should we catch him on a detail. So the CRM aspect is completely up for grabs right now. We built one. So there's just so much innovation in this business that we're getting into. And that's why I love this business so much too. There's so much upside. Another question, is your equipment guy responsive? It's really important to have your employees know how to fix the parts. You don't want to have to call another company to fix the parts. It's a pain. You should train your employees how to fix the parts. It's not hard. Let me see if there's questions. I'm looking on a property right now. Is a self-service? Can it be converted, upgraded to an express? Depends how big the property is. Good question. It really depends how big the property is. It depends. There's a lot of factors. Do you need a variance to move things? What's the car count? How big of a tunnel can you build? What the project will cost? Do you have to tear it down? So let me know if you need my help, Leo. You're asking great questions. Why would this be better than buying multifamily? Let me ask you this. Multifamily is great. I'm not saying it's better, but where are you going to make more money? Can you make 30 to 35% on multifamily? No way. So you're going to make a much higher return on investment than just a regular real estate asset. Beacon payments, yeah. I mean, that's Beacon payments is a processor. It's not a POS system, but they're definitely my go-to guys. Hi, Mike. Very interested in the car washes, but I know an owner who has been looking to sell the building for years with the laundromat. How can I try to formalize this representation for the boss to bring you the deal and get a commission? Will today's call? Yes. So I will go over at the end of the call exactly how to work with me. Another question, very important. Are all of your employees on the books? If not, it's okay. I understand. But give us the total payroll. Tell us what you pay them in cash so we can understand the labor percentages. Car wash business is the payroll business. Do you have a manager? How long has that manager been there? What does that manager get paid? Does that manager get paid commissions? Is he salary only? Is he willing to stay? Is he someone we can groom? Do they know how to fix the parts in the tunnel? All very important questions. The underwriting sheet. These are the main expenses: gross sales, net income, any other expenses, payroll, including payroll taxes. This is basically like the main things you should know: the gross sales, the net income, the payroll, how many cars you washed a year, the price per car, the tunnel size, the equipment, what CRM you're using, and then maybe history of the staff, how long has the manager been there, and then the staff, what the hours of operation are. That's very important. What the shifts are. That's very important. The deal. Why is the business really for sale? Understand the real story. Don't just believe what he's telling you. There's a reason why the business is for sale. You got to uncover the real reason. How much debt can be attained from the property in the business? What could this business afford in debt? The business is making $100,000 a month clean. Can it really support a $50,000 a month mortgage payment? If it has that profit, it could, but is it really making that? Will the seller hold a note at what rate and what term? It's always good to have the seller, no matter what, hold something. It sounds like you want the manager to be getting a piece of the action. So yes, exactly. A piece of the action, or Leo, a bonus. When he hits X amount of members, he gets X amount of dollars. If he signs up X amount of members today, he gets a commission, right? So aligning like that is great too. That's how I align with my managers. Understand the history and triple check the numbers being reported. There are a lot of write-ups in this business. Watch the payroll. I've seen 30% returns with great management. Okay, two ways to get started with me. So to answer everyone's questions on how to get deals, I put together a school. So I'm put together with Alex Hermosi, not a regular school platform, a platinum school platform for people that have X amount of followers. So, they're advertising me. So they wanted to advertise me. So right now I put together a community where I'm teaching people how to refer businesses, and I'm having all of my deals go there before they hit biz buy sell in the open market. So that's my school platform. It's very inexpensive to join. It's $79 a month, and it's the best $79 a month you'll ever spend. So I'm going to drop that in the chat. And that's one way to work with me. School.com/change your life. And then if you want to get really involved in the business, I should have the school platform here. So this is the school platform. Whoever's like interested in just learning about deals, join the school platform here. But if you want to learn, get involved in my mentorship. Just reach out to Dino. He's here, putting his number in. Vince as well is here as well. I'm putting their numbers in the chat. Just call these guys. These guys are with me today. They're with me every day. And here's the schooling. Shiva just posted in. If you want to get like if you want to get in front, if you want to see my deals before they hit the market, everyone on Hedgestone and mentorship, you guys have that. You're going to have this for free. If anyone wants to get in and see my deals first, go to the school chat. We're posting every single day. We're posting a new deal, and I'm showing people how to refer business to me on the chat as not as brokers, but as referrals. If you want to learn how to broker, call one of these guys. It's the best. It's the best thing you can ever do if you want to get into this. You're going to learn so much, and there's just so much opportunity. But before I end, does anyone have any questions? How can we contact you if we have a potential deal? Reach out to Vinny, reach out to Nikki, reach out to Dino. They're all with me all day. They have extensive experience. Most deals are throughout the whole country, not just East Coast. So right now we're also in California. We're in Arizona. We're getting into California, Texas, Florida, Colorado, Utah. We just picked up a few. Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Vegas. I'm getting a monster in Vegas. 100,000 cars washed. 100,000 members in Vegas. It's going to be like a $300 million deal. But get involved. No matter who you are, just if you're not in the Hedgestone mentorship, join the school program right now. If the price is going to skyrocket. It's the cheapest it will ever be. It's $79 a month. It's going to go up to probably $300, $400 a month in the next month. So get in now. You'll be in for life at that price. What deals are your fastest? If I bring you a plumber that would go faster than a deli. Yeah, bring me a plumbing deal. I just sold a $6 million plumbing company last week with Brian Dunn. I don't know if he's on the call. And Elliot, I don't know if they're on the call. They just sold it. Plumbing, HVAC, drain service businesses, any business. We can sell it. I'm posting them in the school every single day. So you can have access to that. That's going to be like our own ecosystem of deals, or join the mentorship. But let's connect. Don't just, if you're kind of interested in this, don't just leave the call. If you're part of the Hedgestone mentorship, guys, the leads are funneling in. I cranked on the Facebook ads. The Facebook ads are coming in like crazy. Everyone's going to be getting leads who join the Facebook ads. We're doing lookalike audiences. It's going to be insane. Can you provide more clarity on how the referral program works? Absolutely. We're going to show you exactly how to get these sellers. And then when you refer them to us, you get between a 10 and 15% referral fee off the top gross commission. So guys, don't leave this without either signing up to school or coming part of the mentorship. If you're part of the mentorship, a lot of big things are gonna come as they are, as you see. Any other questions? Are you against bringing in mentorship students, not and with you investors to part? No, I'm not against it. If you have the net worth of $2.2 million, I would be happy to work with you. I got a great deal. I got 2 car washes. I put in contract for 19 million. We pretty much almost have it funded, right? We're pretty much there.
We're almost there. There's a little bit of
There's a little bit of room. There's like 600 grand left. Whoever is a $2.2 million net worth investor, we can bring you in as a partner. You'll be a regular partner on the deal. Same equity as me. Same shares. So if you are, reach out to me. If you guys want to make money, reach out to me. You're gonna see we're climbing right now. We're going to the moon. I would love for you all to be part of this. Thank you so much for your time, everybody.